Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I call this meeting of the Northeast Independent School District School Health Advisory Council to order. Let the record show that a quorum of SHAC members is present. This meeting is in compliance with Section 28.004 of the Texas Education Code and applicable board policy. The council's meeting today will address only the topics on the agenda. No other topics will be discussed during the meeting. SHAC meetings are open to the public. Guests wishing to address the SHAC may do so by emailing the SHAC committee at shac@neisd.net. Any person that causes disruption during the meeting will be asked to leave. Thank you for your cooperation. Please remember, health-related issues can sometimes generate passionate discussions with very different viewpoints. Remain calm and respectful throughout the process. Listen carefully with an open mind to identify critical facts and statistics that should be considered in decision-making rather than over-relying on opinions and emotions. Keep NEISD student health as your top priority to help discussions stay on track. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Mitchell Knaut. I am your email sender, otherwise known as the SHAC Administrative Liaison. A couple of housekeeping items. For those that don't know, the restrooms are out the double doors. Take a right through the glass doors. Go beyond the reception desk, first hallway on your left. Restrooms will be on your left. The name tags that you have at the conclusion of the meeting, please just leave them on the table. That way not everybody's trying to go back and forth through a narrow hallway. The pens and notepads that you have are yours. Please take them with you. Bring them to the meetings as you see fit, SHAC meetings and standing committee meetings. Also, please be aware that video and audio recording is taking place. The cameras are in the corners. And as you speak to various discussion topics, please use the microphones when you're speaking. There's a handheld over there that you can pass around. There's a handheld here, or you're welcome to come up to this microphone. Switch. Okay, the first order of business today is the election of SHAC officers. First order is the chairperson. Since we currently do not have a officer for SHAC, I've asked Trustee Cox to be the receiving person for the teller's report. The teller's report is the summary of the votes that y'all will be taking by paper ballot. For this first vote, I will serve as teller, and I will ask for a couple of volunteers when we get to that point, and then after which we have a chairperson. The chairperson will conduct the election for the vice chairperson and the secretary and ask for teller volunteers. I will also help the tellers if they need it. So, oops, my apologies. Here are the responsibilities for the chairperson. Once you read through it and there's no questions, Ms. Cox will continue with the voting. Is any more time needed to read through the responsibilities?
Okay. Ms. Cox?
Nominations are now in order for the office of chairperson. Oh, sorry. I'm new to this.
Oh, here you go. Can y'all pass that over? You have to turn on the bottom.
I just handed you the mic.
Can I make a nomination and then the person can decide whether they want to accept it? Is that how it works? Or if they qualify or whatever? Okay, I'd like to nominate Tony Kamen.
Volunteers, come on, Tony.
I screwed up last time. I'm trying to do better this time.
Tony Kamen is nominated. Do you wish to accept the nomination, Tony? Are there any further nominations for the office of chairperson? If there are no further nominations for the office of chairperson, nominations are closed.
It's, Ms. Cox, it's by acclamation, so.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm a newbie over here. I don't mess this up.
Mr. Byer does it for you. But you'll have to say it.
Okay, what is it I say?
In the italics.
Oh, I'm sorry. If there's only one nominee, no voting will occur. Thank you. The person is confirmed by acclamation due to an uncontested election.
Cameron, your spot, please.
Thank you, my liege.
Court Jester. Shoot, I'm entertained with that for sure.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your confidence. Okay, now we will have the nominations in order for the position of the vice chair of the SHAC. Do we have any nominations? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to nominate Anna Ramsey.
All right. All right, Anna. Anna Ramsey has been nominated. She has accepted. Are there any other nominations? Okay, please put your hand up if you're interested.
I would love for you to.
All right, going once, going twice. All right, Anna Ramsey has been awarded, has been voted by acclamation. Okay, now that we have a chair and a vice chair for the SHAC, we need a nomination for the position of secretary. All right, with that, Bonnie Scott has been nominated. Bonnie, would you accept if, okay, Bonnie would accept. Are there any other nominations for secretary? Any other nominations? Going once? Going twice? Congratulations, Bonnie. Bonnie, you've been nominated and elected as secretary.
Nobody ever says that in the service. Have you ever noticed that? Like, nobody does that. You know. Tuesday and Wednesday. Could be with your kiddos. My kids are growing up. And with school being off on Monday. Well, no, it's actually.
All right. The next item, the discussion and possible action regarding the staggering of the chairperson and vice chair terms. Anna has graciously told me that I was going to serve the 2-year term, so she's going to serve a single-year term as the vice chair, so that we have the stagger per the guidelines.
I'm very
All
happy
right.
with my first decision as a vice chairperson.
Okay. Mr. Knath, the question I have is, do we have like an estimated schedule for future meetings in
Chair-
place?
Chairperson Kamen, that is up to this body today
Okay.
to decide meeting dates and times. There's not as in years past, the facilitator worked with the chairperson or the executive committee to determine dates. Y'all decide today what you want me to do for meeting spaces and at the appropriate times.
Okay, thank you. So with that, does everybody understand the question? Trying to find out the number of meetings that we would have left for the 24-25 school year.
Mr. Chairperson, point of order. The number of meetings, SHAC is required to have 4. This is considered the first one. You do have 3 more. In the bylaws, the standing committees are to be provided the opportunity to meet at least 4 times.
I think the main discussion that I've heard SHAC speak about and the board speak about is if we want to keep them during the lunch hour or if we're wanting them in the evening, and if so, which date. So we're really focusing on date, like day of the week and time of the day is, I think, the biggest discussion. And then from there, we also have to meet the criteria of 3 additional full SHAC meetings and the opportunity for the standing committees to meet. But I think right now we're just focusing on the full SHAC meetings.
So is this open for discussion now? Is it? Yep.
Yes, and we had first, right here.
Yes, sir.
So I propose that we keep it on lunch meeting, let's say square time, 11:45, to eat, 12:15 start to it, or maybe 1:30. And I also propose, we have to have 4, so that takes us to April. But if the committees, the separate committees are really gonna get starting work and we see something go through, I feel like we need at least get to May, possibly first or June.
We would need a May to get all 4 in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, that's my proposal, that we just go up to May for meetings. Now, I guess, are we also supposed to decide what week of the month that we're meeting?
I'm not sure if we're getting granular with picking all of our meeting dates versus we're just deciding day of the week and time of day. So it sounds like your proposal, I don't know if we're calling it a motion, is keeping it the lunch hour, keeping it Wednesdays, keeping as is? Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Remind me, does the elementary, do they still get early dismissal 1 day a month?
No, we're not doing the Tuesdays anymore.
Okay, so that's off the table. That's why the committee originally moved over to Wednesdays, so not to coincide with that Tuesday off. I guess I could throw a Tuesday or a Wednesday out.
Okay, so we have a motion from the floor to have 1 meeting per month, February, March, April, and May, during lunchtime, typically on a 3rd Wednesday of the month. Do we have a second? We have a second. Sean?
Can I do a
Okay,
point-
discussion.
Can I do a
Okay.
point of clarification? If this counts as a meeting, we don't need to go to May, right? So January, February, March, April.
Oh, this is
This is January. That's okay. So, but we do need subcommittee meetings, but,
Sure.
so-
Sure, yeah, that's, we have discussion now, so. Sean?
Can I go ahead and?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if I need to make a friendly, what's the word I want to say?
A friendly amendment?
Amendment or what to Lori's motion, but is there a way, or maybe we could put it for discussion, could we go back to having the business part where we meet as a whole SHAC first and then have our standing committee time after,
Yes,
rather than having to have separate meetings like we've had? I mean, you know, or a standing committee, I'm sorry, we changed that. Standing committee can still meet as needed. If they have a guest speaker or something they need to have come in, and they can meet any time that they want, as many times as they want. But we used to have the format where we'd meet as a whole, discuss information and materials or whatever that needed to be looked at or shared with the entire SHAC, but we had time for our standing committees.
Correct.
We kind of lost that the last 2 years. I was wondering if there's any chance that we could maybe get back to that format?
I think that would be the plan, is to do that. It just depends on what is on the agenda for the standing committee or for the full SHAC meeting.
Well, I think what took the time has kind of been,
Sure.
yeah. So I think things will abate in that department, right?
Yes.
So can I ask a point of clarification on that? Are you wanting on the agenda this meeting stopping regardless at a certain point so that that time is guaranteed? Or are you just wanting it to be known if we get done early, standing committee meeting time is as time allows?
Well, it used to be up until 2 years ago when Jan Aguilar had the committee as our facilitator at the time, that was her title, is that y'all would set with the executive committee, which was the chairs of the various standing committees would get together with you all being the chair and vice chair. We didn't have a secretary at the time. And decide what the agenda was. Okay, you would set the agenda for the meeting. And then anything after that, so we can't really tell because we don't know what the agenda is going to be. The agenda is going to fluctuate from month to month, but we would have like, just to give people that are new here an example, we'd have like someone come in maybe and speak about nutrition. Sharon Glosson would come in and speak about nutrition or something. She'd do a little presentation, or somebody from fitness and physical activity, we would get maybe one of the principals or someone who was, you know, starting a new program or something at their school to come in and talk. Something that would just let the whole group know, so you'd have something to take back to your constituents or your schools or whatever. And then we would have standing committee time because we didn't have it, but there was, the last 2 years, it's been such a heavy emphasis on the sex ed part of it that we probably should have changed the name of the committee because we were sex ed basically every single meeting. And there was not much time for anything else. But I'm thinking that we're going to get back to more of a routine, or not routine, but you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
normalcy, does that make sense?
Yes.
So-
Yeah, I think you're right. You're exactly right. I think that the plan would be to get back to the way we would have, depending on what the agenda is, and if we had someone come in and do a speaker. So the business would take, you know, five minutes, but then we would have, if we have a guest speaker, then that speaker have 15 minutes, and so that's now 20 to 30 minutes into the meeting, and the last 30 minutes would be for the standing committees.
Or even like announcements, you know, I mean, it didn't have to even be a guest speaker or anything, you know,
Sure.
the different committees, standing committees can get up, give their, you know, presentations or report like what you've been working on, sort of thing. And then like, you know, someone would get up and maybe talk about, I'll just grab this flyer here, the community challenge, how does that work? And, you know, just like general information type stuff, but then we would break out into our standing committee time.
Correct. I think that's the plan with going forward. Just, it all depends on what the agenda is that's made with the executive committee.
But I think if we kind of put a little bit of a limit on that, then we're not just totally like one committee monopolizing the whole
Sure,
full SHAC time.
sure.
So for motion purposes, do you want it to say, I'm just trying to
Diana,
understand.
stop being a stickler.
Do you want it to say, full SHAC meetings will guarantee standing committee time, or standing committee time may occur as available? Like, I'm trying to understand, since you brought it up, if you want that in the motion, or you're just trying to have a conversation?
It was worded in the past as time would allow. You know, sometimes we'd have maybe 30 minutes or whatever, and
Do you
then
want that written in the motion, or do you want it just as a general courtesy that we know that you're giving that information?
I would say probably like a general, what?
If I can make an amendment to your amendment on her motion.
Well, let me just
Well,
ask,
we're still in discussion, so.
let me
Okay,
just ask
good
one
deal.
thing before you do, Sean. Is
Yeah.
could we not maybe put a time frame on there, but just say that, you know, like have the wording in regard to the format, like we're going to talk about general stuff that would pertain to the general full SHAC, and then Lori, help me out.
I just think in the past, it has said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I think in the past, it has been a general courtesy as time allows, standing
Yeah.
committees will meet. But what I'm trying to kind of, I think, hone in on is as we break off into our standing committees, I don't want people thinking, or I do want people thinking, which way, is this guaranteed time or is this not guaranteed time? Because other people will make decisions on when to meet based on if they think they're getting protected time or not. So if it's a courtesy, then as our standing committees meet, we may say, you know what, that's not guaranteed, so I think we should still hold. And I think we also have bylaws that we have to hold. We had to be very careful that we're meeting what we need to meet on top of what, not just need as workload, but what we actually have to criteria meet. So if we're just doing it as a courtesy, great. We know that. We all will take that into consideration. Or if it is protected time, we need to know that as well.
Sure.
What did you want to do, Sean? What were you saying?
Well, she brought the bylaw, so I was looking at it real quick. So I guess clarity for this, and I hate to do this, but so this is the SHAC. So is this the standing meeting, or is it the committee meetings that are the standing committee meetings?
This is the full SHAC meeting.
Right.
And so the standing committees meetings would be the 4 individual standing committees.
Okay. So we have to have a minimum of 4 standing committee meetings in addition to the 4 full SHAC meetings, correct? Because that's what the bylaws say, page 2, Article 3, Section 2. This is the most I've ever read a contract agreement. But that being said, and I think you bring up a good point, though. I think this is what I was trying to say before was, if we go, this is the SHAC meeting, 30 minutes. This is the standing committee meeting, 30 minutes. If there are other things that need to be discussed from the standing committee meeting, then they can meet beyond that, because then you could get the 4 meetings each time and get those done, and then give the standing committees flexibility to meet whatever else they need to. And for anybody new in the room, you're like, standing committee, what are we doing there? Well, there's a whole report that comes out based upon the district and how the district is doing in the areas that each of the committees oversees. And so you get your work from that report, and then you create objectives and goals of things that you want to do. But all that to say, I think if we did it 4 times, then we could get them all in if they were, like you said, both able to meet. My only concern about the ambiguity of if it allows, well, if it doesn't allow, then they have to figure that out versus electing to figure that out is my only thought.
Gotcha.
And there's a little bit of flexibility too, because in the past we've had like maybe some groups that would meet maybe like, say, instead of coming in at 12:15 today, maybe they would meet like beforehand, or maybe they'd stay 15, 20 minutes after, and then they wouldn't have to have another meeting, because sometimes it's hard to get everybody to agree on a different day, time, so on and so forth. And I'll
Great.
shut up now.
I think what's also unique to this year is the time crunch. So I do think this year that format is very wise to say we're going to have a 30-minute SHAC meeting and a 30-minute standing committee, and that this can be changed when we have a full 9-month calendar year, because there is months where standing committees were just the only meeting that month. But if we do it that way this year, it would be doubling up meetings. So I think this is a unique situation for this year.
Okay. So do we want to make yes, sir?
So I guess I want a motion to make it mandatory time.
Okay.
Make it an official motion.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Actually, I forgot to. So Lori made the motion. Lori, he would like to make a friendly amendment to make it mandatory 30 minutes for the full SHAC and 30 minutes for the subcommittee. Is that correct? All right. Do you accept the friendly amendment? All right. So. Okay, Lori, go ahead.
Could it be like, we say no more than 30? I mean, what if it only took 10 minutes to get through full SHAC things?
Sure. No, I think that's exactly right. That the mandatory would be a minimum of 30 minutes for the standing committees. No, so that way, if the full shack business is only 15 minutes, then the remaining minutes could roll to the standing committees. Okay, so just to reiterate, so the motion is that we would continue to have lunchtime meetings once per month in February, March, April, and May. We are targeting the third Wednesday of the month, and within the meetings, there would be a minimum of 30 minutes guaranteed for the standing committees. Work. So that is the motion. Do I have a second? We have a second, all right. Okay, and do we need the ballots?
Can I ask I don't know all the Roberts rules, but if somebody's wanting an evening one, when does their voice get heard? Like, it's like somebody's voice was, okay, I'm doing the afternoon one, but if somebody in this room wanted an evening motion, does that mean this one has to fail before that person gets heard?
No, that could be brought up in discussion, correct?
Oh, then we would just say that was part of the discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
It should have, I'm sorry, it should have been brought up during the discussion
Okay.
time.
We aren't going like side one, side two, like opinion one, opinion two. We're just, if somebody
Well-
disagrees with that, that's where they bring that up.
So I reiterated the motion that's on the table. It's been seconded. We can continue, we can now have additional discussion if you want to have.
Oh, no, I was just saying, I'm learning this process.
Sure. No,
And like,
that's
when
fine.
does everybody's voice get heard? And that's.
Yeah, it's typically, once the motion's been made and then seconded, that's when this discussion is open. And so you could have deferring opinions or a friendly amendment at that time. Yes, sir.
And in my experience with Robert's Rules of Order, I mean, either during the discussion, either an amendment like we just saw gets made to say, no, we'd rather have it in the evening, and then it just gets changed. Or if say, no, I'm not willing to do that, then what you suggested first has to happen. The motion has to fail, and then another motion gets made saying we're going to have it in the evening. I mean, I don't think that Robert's, it is binary, to answer your question, yes or no on the votes. It's not like we're going to choose between a slate of options generally. So it's the motion's made, and it either passes or it doesn't, and it's during the discussion. And I had one other question. I mean, I don't understand in the motion. I mean, a target of the third Wednesday of the month. Does that mean we're going to try to do it then, or can we just say these are the dates? I mean, we know what the third Wednesday of the month is. Maybe we could just put those in and say it's not the target. Those are the dates. I mean, again, just as sort of a point of clarification, because it would be nice when we're done voting on this that we're done thinking about meeting times. So, and so if I could suggest another amendment to the motion to say instead of target of the third Wednesday of the month, just list out what are those dates. And if someone has their calendar open.
February 19th, March 19th,
Great.
April 16th.
Okay. Yes. So the friendly amendment is to target, no longer target, but
to remove the language,
definitive.
remove the language target of third Wednesday of the month and
Right.
list the four dates, which are
Which would be February 19th,
February 19th, right?
March 19th,
March 19th.
April 23rd,
No, 16th.
I'm sorry, April 16th, sorry, and then May 21st.
Well, are we going to May?
Yes, if need be.
Okay.
And the friendly amendment thing, that was new to me. I guess what that means is we don't have to vote on the amendment, that if the person who made the motion is okay with that, we just change it.
Yes, the friendly amendment is basically just an addition to or a clarification of the motion that's made, and then it's reiterated.
Removed.
Or it can be removed, it could be,
Or- yeah, yeah.
because it can be accepted or it can be rejected.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
What's your name, sir?
My name's Ed Giese, Giese.
Thank you.
Okay, so at this point, I think we're ready for the ballots to vote.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman. Tony, is that correct on the screen, please?
Okay.
Um, That's what I was saying, there needs to be a comma around if needed, correct, after May 21st?
Yes, the May 21st, if needed.
I'm not a grammar expert, but
Oh, parentheses instead of comma on May 21st. Yes, okay. Yeah, I would say add full instead of the shack for 30 minutes for a full shack business with a minimum of 30 minutes for standing committee work. So business after shack and then right there. Yes, sir. Business. Yes, sir. Yes.
Sorry, one final question. I mean, I know we picked these dates out. Does anyone know when spring break is? Okay, all right. April 16th is Holy Week, which may or may not matter to anybody, but I don't think that's going to affect anybody.
Fortunately, it's on a Wednesday, and so we don't have to worry about our meal. But great point. All right, so I believe, yes, we have another hand. Yes. Okay. Any other comments on the actual motion that's listed? All right, great. So when you get your ballot, if you will go ahead and circle your choice and then fold it in half, like so. Fold it in half like a hamburger, like a hamburger. While Mitch is reviewing the ballots, if you will please review the minutes from June 5th. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
on the motion regarding one meeting per month, February 19th, March 19th, April 16th, May 21st, if needed during lunchtime, 12:15 to 1:30 p.m. No more than 30 minutes for full SHAC business with a minimum of 30 minutes for standing committee work sessions. Number of votes cast, 23. Number necessary for election, majority of votes cast, 12. Those in favor say aye, 22. Those opposed say no, 1. Illegal votes, 0.
Okay, on the motion for one meeting per month, February 19th, March 19th, April 16th, and May 21st, if needed, during lunchtime from 12:15 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., with no more than 30 minutes for the full SHAC business and a minimum of 30 minutes for the standing committee work sessions. There were 23 votes cast. The number necessary for passing is 12 votes. Those in favor, 22 were aye. Those opposed, 1 was a nay. There were zero illegal votes, and so the motion passes. The next item on the agenda is the approval of June 5th, 2024 minutes. Is there a motion to approve the June 5th, 2024 minutes? We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Do we need, okay. We have a motion made and seconded. We need ballots for that as well. Is there any discussion? I didn't see any discussion. Okay, I didn't think so.
Is this something new? We've never done ballots for the minutes. Is this something new? Are we required to do this now?
Well,
Okay, part of the discussion, it's something that we don't have to do. Ballots, I think that was something that we looked at
look right here.
and discussed quite a bit in the minutes. Let me go back to the,
So under section 7 of decision-making, it says, the full SHAC and standing committees will vote using a numbered, randomized, and anonymous paper ballot. Roll call votes shall not be permitted. So that was a bylaw change by the board in October. I'm assuming means more of our bigger votes, but I don't know how to tease out minutes.
I think you're right. I think that it's for more for a policy from the standpoint of if there could be some dissension one way or another. As a full SHAC, would y'all be open to me asking at the time, would you prefer a ballot, open ballot, or a voice ballot versus a paper ballot? For minutes, or we can just do the minutes only. Yes. Sure,
Microphone,
wrench.
please. Microphone, please, ma'am.
Microphone.
Microphone, please, ma'am.
She loves them.
Smoothly, but I'm not.
She's part of the duck dodge duck with the throwing wrenches.
My point is too, is that in the past, we've got so many new folks on here. Should the people be voting on minutes when they had no? Yeah. Exactly. I mean, should it just be the people who were actually in attendance at that meeting or on the SHAC at that time?
Well, I think they're part of the SHAC now, and so they have the ability as part of the SHAC to vote on those minutes. They may not be as informed as to what what were in those minutes, but they still have the ability as the new SHAC to cast their vote one way or another.
So if they have a question about that, then we need to entertain
The
that.
discussion, that's
Okay.
where the discussion part, yes. So the question, does it make sense on certain votes that we ask? Would you prefer a ballot vote versus a voice vote? Yes, I saw a hand come up.
Microphone, please, ma'am.
When we got our emails, the agenda, am I there?
When you,
You're,
Okay. I know it's red. Oh, that one, thank you. Okay, when we got our emails, everything, the minutes, the agenda, everything was sent to us at the same time of the meeting. So I'm sure everyone else is aware of what happened, at least like as if you sent the meeting today to the next person. So I feel comfortable with what I would say, even that I'm new.
I think that's a fair point, and I think with us being recorded, at any point, people can find those resources. Back to your original question with roll call or not doing ballots, I think the only place that I would feel comfortable in is the minutes only. I don't think it should come up when these other committee votes come up, because I think we're going to start to get caught up in trying to decide which way to go. And that the intention of what I'm reading the bylaw is by the board is all votes should be run by ballot, but I don't know, Ms. Cox, if this is something that as a liaison you can take back to the board, or you want to speak on this specific minutes. How legalistic are we going to get on that?
I'm technically not supposed to speak, so that's okay. I'm learning too, so may I speak, or I do not want to break any rules.
as I'm giving you the opportunity
Okay.
to give some guidance.
Okay.
Please.
So in all honesty, we did not specify, even talk about the minutes being paper ballot. It was more geared toward the decisions from the committees. So I guess that would be left up to you guys to decide what you're comfortable with. But that's something I can take back to the board if you want, and we can revisit that if they want to do it that specifically. But that was not something that we actually discussed about the minutes voting. I hope that's.
Yes, thank you. I guess that's the reason why I asked in the discussion point about, from a friendly amendment standpoint, or if the full SHAC feels comfortable in doing voice votes or votes by hand as opposed to ballot votes for the minutes? Is there, okay. Is that acceptable that we do by votes by hand? For the minutes? Okay. Then if that's the case, then we have a motion made, we have a seconded. All those in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, raise your hand, say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion is passed. Okay, the next item up on the agenda is the presentation regarding the SHAC organization. Mr. Mitch?
Mr. Chairman, since I'm not able to get the technology to work from the podium, is it okay if I address the group from here? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Go for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for your service. The School District Health Advisory Council was created during the 74th Legislature in 1995, and it's been updated since at least 2001. What you see on the screen is the legal requirements for this group. This is the mission statement: to provide advice and recommendations, counsel prior to decisions pertaining to the areas of health education, curriculum appropriate for specific grade levels that may include a coordinated school health program designed to prevent obesity, cardiovascular disease, and type 2 diabetes through coordination of health education, physical education, nutritional services, parental involvement, staff wellness, environmental health, mental and emotional wellness, and health services. And this is your impact. The big takeaway is you are trying to make students healthier so they are better learners. Your organization is here. A majority of the committee needs to be parents, your various categories of membership, and then the chairperson, vice chairperson, secretary, and/or parliamentarian. Parent representatives, again, to maintain the voice of the parents. Your qualities that you've exhibited that allowed the Board of Trustees to nominate you to be here. As previously discussed, SHAC has 4 meetings per year. Public notice at least 72 hours prior to. I will send an initial email at least 7 days prior to the meetings that you've designed. If I make a mistake, I'll send you another one. Standing committees, those are closed to the public, but that's where a majority of the work comes from up to the full SHAC. The standing committees, as I previously said and jumped ahead on the slide, is the focal point of the work. We also have a KSHAC group that when you ask, we will ask them for a student voice. The expectations is outlined in bylaws and board policy. The second to the last bullet: share pertinent SHAC information with your community. Be an advocate. collect input, bring it back to this body. You have instructional recommendations that you make in the areas listed on the screen. You have policy recommendations that you can also make recommendations on to the board. The various ways information flows into SHAC and the standing committees and out of standing committees up to SHAC and to the board. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mitch. All right, next is the standing committee selections. Can I would like to deviate from that just briefly, and I'd like to welcome everybody again for your service to the SHAC. I would like for everybody to have an opportunity to stand up with the microphone and introduce themselves. That way, when it comes to the standing committee, you actually know a little bit about, the person that you may be voting for or nominating. So if you'll please stand up one at a time. We'll start over here with a microphone. If you'll give us your name, your, how many kids you have in school, what SMD you represent, and just a little bit about yourself. Go ahead.
Okay. So Lauren Peterson. I grew up in San Antonio. I went to Northeast ISD schools. I'm a Churchill graduate. My husband graduated from Lee. We have 4 sons, 2 Churchill graduates one has already graduated from college, off the payroll. One's still in college. And then I have a sophomore at Lee I'm a magnet mom, and he's part of the STEM program. Then I have an 8th grader at Jackson Middle School. What else did you want me to say? That's it? Oh, I do oncology sales.
Hi, I'm Christy Burguete. I am a mom to 3 kids. I have 2 still in NEISD. My oldest is at OU in the acting program. And then I have a high school senior at ISA and a sophomore at Churchill. Both play soccer at their schools. And I don't do much.
You do a ton. Look at you. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Glazier. I am mom to, I'm not originally from San Antonio, originally from New England, the Boston area. I am a mom to 3 boys. One is just off to college. I have one who's a sophomore, junior at ISA, and I have a 6th grader at Lopez Middle School. But I live in SMD1 district and the Churchill district. And what else? Oh, I'm a physician. I practice internal medicine, but really focus on geriatrics and palliative care.
Hi, everybody. I'm Donald Thomas. I have 5 kids, 1 Churchill graduate. I'm also a Churchill graduate. 1 Churchill graduate last year. I have 2 sophomores, 1 STEM, 1 Lee proper. I have a junior that's in ISA as well. I work for an air conditioning manufacturer. I am currently the FFA Booster Club president at Madison. So I have 1 senior over at Madison as well. He's graduates this year. And that's about it for me.
Hi, I'm Mary O'Connor. My grandson is a ROTC freshman and cybersecurity at Lee and MacArthur. My kids went to Churchill and Lee, both graduated. My son is a doctor with No Borders. And that's why my grandson lives with me, and I'm retired. I live across the street from the tennis court at Lee, and I gather up the balls in the afternoon.
Hi, everyone. I'm Pastor Agisi. I grew up in Houston, lived all over. Actually, all four of my boys were born in New Hampshire, so lived in Boston for a while. But I am currently serving Christ Our Savior Lutheran Church, which is right across the street from Nimitz. And that's got me interested over there. I volunteer over there. And I've got one of our member families has 7 children. 3 of them are at Nimitz, and the other 3 are at Jackson Keller. So, yeah, and they kind of treat me like a grandpa since their own dad passed away. But my own kids have kids of their own now, so I don't have the immediate interest, but very strong community interest in Nimitz in particular.
Hi, I'm Ruth Whittington. I am representing SMD5, so the Johnson district, but I actually am also a Churchill grad. I'm a mom of 4. I have twin boys that are in the 7th grade at Tejeda now, and then boy-girl twins that are in 4th grade at Roan Forest. So I have many years ahead of me to be working with any ISD.
Sorry. Jennifer Taylor, I have just one kid. I feel way behind you, sorry. Slacker. SMD5, I have just a sophomore. He's a soccer player at Johnson. And I am this year running the clothes closet across the street, so every Wednesday is shopping day. So good news, I'll be dressed very casually and comfortably because I've been doing all kinds of crazy stuff there. So thank you.
Hey, Sean Metcalf, one of the pastors at Community Bible Church. So, like you, sir, community member through SMD5. Go Jacks. I got 2 Johnson Jaguar graduates, and I now have an A&M graduate and another junior at A&M. And but my pride, my biggest accomplishment is that the love of my life married me, and she's one of the counselors at Johnson High School. So, anyway, that's me.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lori Boss, SMD7. I have 3 kids. One is at Madison. He's a football player, soccer player, orchestra player. One at Tex Hill, also orchestra and ham student, GT student. And an elementary kiddo in 3rd grade at Longs Creek Elementary. I work in medical software sales.
Hi, everyone. My name's Anna Mink. I'm out of SMD7. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in private practice, specialize in trauma, particularly with military, worked a lot with foster care and adoption and that kind of thing. I am a community member, but I also have 2 kids in the district. My son's going to graduate from Roosevelt this year and enlist in the military. And my daughter is in the band, and she's a junior.
Hi, I'm Erin Ross. I am SMD6, Reagan Cluster. I'm a marriage and family therapist as well. Hi. And a professional counselor, and I specialize in sex therapy. I have 3 kids, and we're in the Reagan Cluster, but they'll actually be going to Tejeda Johnson. 2 of my kids go to Tuscany Heights, 4th grade and 2nd grade, and then I have a 7th grader at Tejeda. And I think that's it, right? Yeah. Okay.
Hi, my name is Michelle Wilson, and I am going to have to jet out of here after I do my introduction. I worked in education for the last 19 years, 8 of those in this district at Reagan High School as a counselor. The last 3, I was the lead counselor at Reagan High School, but now I'm a realtor full-time, so change of pace. I have 3 kiddos. I have a 15-year-old or sophomore baseball player at Reagan, a 7th grade volleyball, basketball, dance little kiddo at Bush, and then a pre-K 4 kiddo at Los Lomas. So we have 3 different drop-offs, and part of the reason for the change. So thanks. And I had to go train, so I'm sorry to leave early. I don't know if you need to like dock me or anything. So.
Okay. All right. Grab your stuff. You're going to get assigned an important role.
Yes, we know. We have you covered. I'm Kat Lodge. I'm serving on SMD6, and I have a 7th grader at Lopez And I have a 9th grader at Reagan. The 9th grader does orchestra, and the 7th grader is in band and wishes he was more athletic than he was, sadly. But he wishes he was on all the athletic teams, but he's not. I'm a VP of residential sales at Coldwell Banker, so we're in the same kind of industry, which is coincidental. And I've served on just about every position I can think of on PTA since my kids were in 1st grade. So last year I was the PTA president at Lopez, and the year before that, was I that again? I might have been at twice, maybe. I can't remember. And then Lopez at Vineyard PTA as well, with president, vice president, all of those roles. So I'm glad to be here, and nice to meet you all.
Sorry, recovering from foot surgery still, so the standing is not pretty. My name is Debbie Freno, background in PE and recreation. I have 2 children who well, they're not children anymore, 2 adult children who graduated from Reagan High School, go Rattlers. And one is an aerospace engineer working for a national lab in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the other is a lawyer. And that's about it. One more thing. We are originally from Southern California. Fortunately, we decided to stay here. Otherwise, we would be right in the middle of those wildfires right now.
Right. My name is Lori Fitch. I'm actually a MacArthur grad, but I have 2 boys. One is a junior at Texas Tech. The other is a senior at STEM. Baseball season's about to start up, so we'll be pretty busy with that. And I've been with Heritage Pediatrics for over 20 years.
I'm Robin Chainfield. I have 3 boys. My oldest is in 6th grade at Bradley, and my 2 younger are elementary at Northwood in 1st grade and 5th grade. And then in my free time, I teach classes at the Golds and the Y.
What do you teach? Body pump. My name is Carolyn Wheat. I work for San Antonio Sports, which is a nonprofit organization that serves as a sports commission for San Antonio. I have 2 children who graduated from ISA. They are graduated from college, and they're both pursuing even more degrees. We have several programs that touch Northeast students. We just had an all-star football game on Saturday. We just picked a basketball team yesterday, so we'll be announcing that after we work this weekend. School parks, and then after a break, we have a after-school program that is in 2 campuses at Northeast. We used to be in 5, and the pandemic stopped that, and I'm thrilled that they're back. It's at Wilshire and Delview, so excited to continue pursuing health and fitness opportunities for the students.
My name is Megan Lemus. I have 2 children. One is serving in the Army. He's been in for 5 years now. He's over in Japan. And then I have a daughter that's a sophomore at Roosevelt. She keeps us super, super busy. If she's not playing school sports, basketball or volleyball, she's on a club volleyball team that takes us all over the country. So we're super excited to watch her grow. And my full-time job, I'm an ER nurse, and I've worked in the ER for going on 25 years now. So.
Hi, I'm Hallie Ramirez, mom of 4. I have got a sophomore at Lee High School in the STEM program, and 2 at Nimitz, 8th grade girl and a 6th grade boy, and then a 3rd grader at East Terrell Hills, where I live, SMD 2. I'm an on-the-go mom because I'm driving all over San Antonio for what they've got on the calendar, and an unpaid Uber, which is awesome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bonnie Scott. I am mom of an elementary student in SMD 4, and I am also a therapist. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I own a private practice called Mindful Kindness Counseling, and I'm excited to be here with all of you.
My name is Anna Ramsey, and I have 2 boys. One in 8th grade at Bradley and one in 4th grade at Hidden Forest. I'm about to enter the big world of high school kids, which is scary. My background is nursing, pediatrics, and school nursing. And for now, I'm also a Uber and a stay-at-home, all the things. So that keeps me busy. I'm happy to be part of SHAC. This is my 7th year here. And very excited to expand kind of the role that y'all have entrusted in me and get to work. So thank you.
And I'm Tony Kamen. I've been with, let's see, I live in the SMD 5 over in the Johnson, yes, with the J. I've been on the SHAC for 83 years. There you go. So my wife, my beautiful wife, Michelle, is a special ed teacher at Encino Park. We have 4 kids. 3 of them have grown up in the Johnson cluster. 1 graduated from A&M. The second one went to A&M. The third one is at A&M Kingsville as a freshman, and my baby girl is a softball player at Johnson. And you'll see me there a lot. I do a lot of assistant coaching in the select side, so I can relate to the volleyball schedules and that type of thing. So I really, like I said, I've been with on the SHAC for more years than I probably care to say. I appreciate the opportunity to help try to lead this year in SHAC and I guess next year as well, since I've got the 2-year term. It'll finish out a string of probably 10 to 12 years from my first son to my baby girl. So I appreciate the time of being here. With that, thank you for everybody's participation with that. We're running short on time, but the next is the standing committee sections. So let's see here. I'll turn myself off. Okay, so each SMD really needs to meet together to determine which of the members of each SMD is going to be on which one of the standing committees. And typically what we do is we've had, if there's a certain member of the SHAC that has been on a certain committee, they have the first right of refusal to stay on that standing committee. But who knows? They may want to change. I would suggest, as the president, as the chair of the SHAC, is that fortunately we have several members that have a medical background, and I personally think it would be great to have at least one person on each of the 4 standing committees that has a medical background, because obviously having a medical background is great in physical fitness. It's great in safe and healthy schools. It's great in physical activity, as well as the classroom and health sex education. So if you'll meet within your SMDs and try to determine that would be great. Bless you. Sarah.
Going to do it right now.
Okay. Can I get everybody's attention real quick? In the essence of time, since we've pretty much run out of it, I'm going to ask that you do this if you don't mind. If you will write down what your first choice is and then what your second choice is next to your name as to which standing committee that you would like to serve on, your first and your second choice. I'm going to gather that information, and then since we have some members that aren't here and don't have a voice, and so rather than just appointing them to a committee, I'd like to be able to reach out to them and get a sense of which committee they would like to serve on based off of what everybody's first and second choice is. Does that make sense? Okay, so if we can do that real quick, then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Hopefully by our first, one of the first items on the agenda will be, for the next meeting, will be to finalize the standing committees and then allow you to elect your chair and vice chair of the standing committees. Okay? Great.
Thank you, ma'am.
If you agree to which standing committees, then yeah, just give me the first choice and we'll go from there.